conversation. It's transition day. I am on week 17. Let me get that over. Week 17. I had a really bad, like, not a bad week, but pretty interesting week. Last week when we spoke, I was getting ready to do a whole bunch of tests. So I'm going to be talking about that because there was a little adventure with that as well. I'm also going to talk about a surgery that I had before I got my Invisalign done. It's not an uncommon surgery, but the procedure that I had is a little bit less common. So I'm going to explain a little bit about that because I had a bit of a complication with that this week. If I'm not exactly looking at you, I'm doing real life stuff. I'm actually doing my nails. So you get to at least join me for a little part of that, just at least for me to put on my nail protector. I had my diabetes test on Friday. First of all, very gross, yucky test. I'm not a sweet tooth person. Like, I'll have cake and cookies and chocolate, you know, when I have a little craving, but it's not something that, like, oh my god, I need this every day. This stuff was, first of all, super orange and super sweet. So we could imagine what I was like afterwards. I was dizzy, I was nauseous, I wasn't feeling too good, which apparently is normal during that kind of test. I also understood that people actually like the taste of it. It kind of tasted like a flat, cold orange crush. Like, not even Orangina, not even Fanta, orange crush. So when I got home, when my fiance got home on Friday, I was explaining to him how my test went. And very, very interesting fact. I was like, you know what, just for fun, grab your Coca-Cola bottle, because he's a big fan of pop. I'm like, I just want to see how many grams of sugar there is in like a serving of Coca-Cola, because it's about the same amount as a can of Coca-Cola that they give you to drink, and you have to drink it in about, they give you a span of 2 minutes to drink it. So he checked, and just to give you an idea, Coca-Cola has in a can, I think, 39 grams of fat, of sugar per serving, and this drink that I had to drink was 75 grams of sugar, so it's almost double. So anybody who's done a diabetes test, they know that it's super sweet, and they make you fast for 12 hours. So fast for 12 hours. They tell you to, like, try not to eat too much sugary food before your exam, and boost you with 75 grams of sugar. Yeah, you're gonna feel nauseous. Yeah, you're gonna have vertigo. I got my test done at the Jewish. I don't know if it was just me, but because I was walking around the hospital, they actually gave me like a little card saying that, like, I was getting my glucose test done. I guess just in case something were to happen, like me pass out or me throw up somewhere or something like that. So I got that done. That was super early in the morning, and it was actually pretty quick because I didn't know this. I've never done these types of exams before, but it's not like a normal blood work that you have to wait. Once you pass through triage, you actually go right away to do your test. They don't make you wait, which was pretty interesting to know. Fun fact I didn't know. I also had a dentist appointment I thought it was for a cleaning, because last week I had mentioned it was for a cleaning and to do x-rays, and it seems like the person who called me to make my appointment got my file wrong, because I found it odd, because in September, before I got my Invisalign, my dentist had done x-rays on my teeth, and I was like, okay, maybe they have to do x-rays now because my Invisalign is gone, and they took off my bonding. Sorry, I had like a loss for words. They took off the bonding on the front of my teeth, so maybe it was for that. I don't know, but it seems like it wasn't for that. It was just an update for my gums, because I do have bad gingivitis. and they just wanted to make sure that everything was going good with the Invisalign via my gums, because if it's not, they give me treatment so that I don't lose all my teeth while I'm doing my Invisalign. So that went good, but when I went, they noticed that I had a lump on my left side of my palate, and at the beginning of my Invisalign, when we had first spoke, it was an actual blood bubble. What happened was that one of my aligners, like, it was pointing into my palate, so it formed a blood blister, and it popped, and the blood came out, and that was that. It was done. And I had told my dentist, I'm like, well, I had a blood blister in the past, and sometimes I get these bumps on my palate. They go and they come back, so I don't freak out about it. But she was a bit worried about it. She at first thought it was a tooth that maybe the root was rotting following like movement. So she was like, I just want to make sure we don't have to do any root canals. So she did an electro test. She did x-rays. She sent those x-rays to my surgeon, Dr. Lisbona at the Jewish. And I eventually made an appointment to go and see him to see what was going on. So when I went to go see, so before I go see him, because I had my appointment for Tuesday, Monday night, the swelling got bigger and bigger, obviously. And Monday night, as I was eating supper, like at this point I was eating liquids, I wasn't even eating anything solid because it was taking up a good chunk of my mouth. It was about the size of my thumb on the side of my palate. And as I was eating soup, I just feel this weird liquid, and I'm like, this isn't soup. This is not soup. So a part of the bubble had burst. So clean it up, everything's fine. And I'm like, either way, I go to the hospital tomorrow, so he's gonna see if there's infection, if there's something wrong. So I got there, super nice. He did an extra x-ray of my palate, and turns out that my surgery that I had a removal of impacted palatial teeth. As I always mention, my canine teeth are actually my baby teeth, or my milk teeth. And because of the way that my fully grown canines were impacted inside my palate, they couldn't fish them out and use them. So they had to completely remove them. But it was really hard because they were really stuck in there, especially on the left side of my palate. That tooth was really, really stuck in there. It was really bad. He actually had to cut a part of my palate to remove my tooth. So in cutting my palate, there was bone missing that would reform because it wasn't a big cut, and is actually reforming. My palate's actually healing pretty well. But because of that, there is residual liquid that does pile up when bone forms. And it's normal from time to time for there to be like a bubble, but not as big as it was. On top of that, because of the tooth movement, air formed inside the bubble. So the bubble ended up being majorly an air bubble. So he drained that. Everything was perfect. Everything was good. Friday this week, I had my orthodontist appointment because I am almost, I have technically 41 trays. So I am technically almost halfway done. What I learned was you get a clean check preview before you start your Invisalign. And the last one that's approved, well, you kind of look at that if your teeth are tracking properly and you're using your Invisalign like you're supposed to. Your teeth should follow those movements. There's always error, like there's always room for error, but usually it should follow it properly and follow along those lines. And because we were close to the halfway mark, I went on Friday to find out if I needed readjustment or whatnot, and it seems like my teeth are moving pretty well. They're actually surprised because of my age. They're like, usually when patients are a little bit older, teeth tend to be more settled in, so it's harder for them to move. But your teeth seem to be moving really well. So I got my next batch until week 32. So let me take these out. I haven't had time to put them in my vanity yet because I do have to clean it up a bit. I got extra chewies because that was one thing. They gave me chewies and I'm like, yeah, do you think you could give me extra ones? Because I tend to be savage with my chewies. So she gave me actually 2 packs of chewies instead of 1. So I'm super grateful for that. And I shouldn't be doing this, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm kind of a germaphobe for these things, but I'm going to do it anyways, just show you. From what I understand, by week 32, so this is my week 32. By week 32, if everything goes well, that's when my teeth should be perfectly straight. The only thing is that a few weeks before my week 32, it's going to be around week 28 or 29. I'm going to go in to do like a review like I did this time. It's just going to be a little bit longer because I'm approaching the end at that point. They're going to do more scans and whatnot just to see if I need refinements or if I can get my retainer right away and finish a little bit early, which would be fun, but we shall see. What else? I'm trying to think. Yeah, so as I was approaching midway of my Invisalign program, I started looking into the retainers. My program gives me the normal Holly retainer, which those of you who don't know what that is, it's the normal retainer with the wire in the front. I do know that there's a Canadian company called Clearbow that they do work with orthodontists, and they actually make a clear plastic wire for the front, which would be more interesting. The reason why I'm looking into that is because it's the retainer that's given with the program. I couldn't get the Vivera retainer, which is the Invisalign equivalent of the retainer, but considering I might have to wear that for a while, the risks of it getting stained with knowing me are high. So I'd rather have the normal Holly retainer that I can just keep it in my mouth and do whatever I please with it. As well. It's just more durable, lasts longer. I kind of did my research on it. It's durable, it lasts longer, it's easier to clean. So I have to ask my dentist about that when I go back in April. So that was pretty good news all in all this week. Weather's still crappy over here in Montreal. We're looking for more cold, and today's Groundhog's Day. I know in the States they got early spring. Here we got 6 more weeks of winter, which didn't surprise me. But it doesn't matter. We had a fairly okay winter before Christmas. It was only starting January that we got the really, really cold bouts. We got the snow, we got the rain, we got the ice. So I can't really complain too much. So that's about it for my transition day. We shall see each other next week. In the meantime, stay warm, stay cozy. Bye, y'all.